Hello and welcome back to the Rangers Rabble podcast, match reaction show, full time from Ibrox Stadium in the UEFA Champions qualifier. Rangers 2, Servette 1. Well, lads, real mixed emotions actually, because I think we started really well and we'll come through it. But overall, we take a result over to Switzerland. Mark, I'll come to you first just to give us a quick oversight of what you thought of the game.
I'm kind of flabbergasted at some of the comments that I've seen. It's mad. For me, vast improvement in the weekend. Vast improvement. Absolute night and day. We created chances, decent movement, decent passages of play, knocking the ball about fairly well. I thought Cantwell was outstanding. As I said, I told you boys before we come on here, I sat with a Millwall fan and I sat with a Middlesbrough fan watching the game, just the three years, and they were wax lyrical about our team. They were saying, "Wow, you look like a really good side," blah blah blah. And I'm looking at group chats and we're terrible and we're this and we're that and I'm worried and also look for me. What I said in the reaction to the last game was, I'll keep my powder dry, and I need to see improvement. For me, I see an improvement. So I don't know. It's as if for some reason, because we've spent some money this season and we've brought in a wad of players that were expected to be prime Barcelona. I can't get my head around it. It's like somebody said it in the group chat about my expectations were too high. I was like, welcome to being a Rangers fan. Mad. As I said, I'm sitting with neutrals, two neutrals, sitting wax lyrical about our team, knocking about well, you look really good, blah, blah, blah. Big Lammers looks great. The boy Danilo's maybe trying too hard, but he looks sharp. Cantwell's outstanding, waxing lyrical. You'll not keep a hold of him. He's put himself in a shop window. How many years have you got left in his contract they're talking about? I thought Big Shooter was outstanding as well, breaking forward with the ball. I can't understand what I'm reading. Maybe it's me, maybe I'm not right in the head. I don't know, but I think that, I mean, Rangers fans were always that extreme. We're either amazing, or we're terrible, or we're right behind Beale, or we're sacking him. We're neither in the middle somewhere. We're neither looking at it for like a clear head. So, as I said, for me, he can give me all the abuse he's want in the comments, but I see improvement. So that's all I was looking for. We've won a game, a European tie. So, I mean, we're 2-1 up. I said it in my pre-match. That was my score, 2-1. I thought it was going to be these games. You're never going to run away with that. But I'll tell you what, we missed a lot of chances tonight. It could have been 4-1 or even 5-1. So for me, that's a massive improvement.
Listen, we'll come through the game play by play, but just want to get an overall feel for the guys. James, prime Barcelona, we are not. But you've got to agree with Mark. We were certainly improved from what we saw at the weekend.
Well, we couldn't have been much worse the weekend, put it that way. But I do agree with Mark. We were better than the weekend. But for me, there's still too many sloppy passes going on. There's still too many poor performances in that team tonight for me. That I'm sorry that if folk don't agree with me or no, but I'm not going to sit here and say, "Oh, we'll let him away or we'll let him away." There was some players out there the night that should have been dragged off at half time for me. Dessers been one of them.
Wow.
Ian,
are you in agreement with James there? Dessers to be hooked at half time?
I don't think he should have been hooked at half time. He was having a fairly decent first half. He wasn't too bad. He got tired and he's not fit. We know that. He's admitted himself that he's a week or two behind everybody else. Second half, he didn't do himself any favours, granted. There were good bits, there were bad bits. It was frustrating as hell second half. Sitting here while watching the game, getting a bit annoyed that the amount of times that there was nobody out wide. I think it was one point towards the end of the game. I know we're going to do play-by-play, but Hadji's looking to get the ball out wide, turns, looks, and there's nobody there. Tavernier's behind him. Tavernier looked done. there were some positive bits, particularly in the first half. First half, I was thinking, okay, we could put this game to bed before half-time, 3-4-0 before half-time. And then we just turned into the Rangers of Saturday. Whether that's to do with lack of matches, because I get that the Servette have played 6 games and it kind of showed today. I'm not overly angry, but I'm not overly happy at the same time. I've probably got splinters because I'm sitting on the fence a bit, but I'm not. I don't know where to put myself, to be honest, at this point.
Okay, let's go through it. Let's go play by play. Listen, the comments are flying in, so it's hard for me to try and keep up. But yeah, keep them coming in. We'll try and get through as many as we can, and obviously talk about one or two as well. Listen, we started, I thought, really, really well. Getting into good areas. The front three looked good. Cantwell especially looked like he was up for it. And then 4 minutes in, he's brought down in the box, and we get that penalty to start the game, Mark.
Yeah, the words that we love to hear, innit? Penalty Rangers. Absolutely brilliant. So, we spoke about it pre-match. Starting quick, getting an early goal, settle the nerves, which it did. The Ibrox was rocking. And I think that the new boys all took a wee lift for that. As I said, for me, we started well, we knocked the ball about well, we showed a bit of intent, and that's really all I asked for. A lot of us went into this game very, very intrepid and fearing the worst. And for us to come away with a 2-1 win, play half decent. I've never said, boys in the comments there, take your words literal. I never ever said we were great. I said we've seen improvement. I said a few boys who's played well. I mean, I think by now we know I'm a kind of half-full type of guy. But, I mean, come on. 2 games into the season. As I said to you before, I'll jump on a bandwagon with the rest of you if we were rotten, the same as we were at the weekend. But that's not been the case. So for me, I've seen progression. I've seen improvement. As this team gels, they're going to get better. I see a lot of that I like for this side. All right, there's things that we're going to need to tweak, and people are going to need to bring their performance up 10, 15, 20% maybe. But as I said, for me, I see a vast improvement for the weekend.
Ian, I'll come to you. Obviously, you mentioned Tavernier and Dispatches in your opening piece. He gets goal 102 for the club. He seems to score big, important goals. It was a huge goal for us in terms of we needed one early to settle us, as Mark said. And the captain seems to like scoring in Europe.
Yeah, when he steps up to take a penalty, you're fairly confident he's going to put it away because he's got you never know where he's going to put it, and that's the good thing. So it's either left, right, or down the middle. His penalties are never the same. So you're always fairly confident he's going to take it. I didn't have any worries when he was stepping up to take it, and 102 goals for a right back is fantastic. It was a good start.
Just while we're on the captain, and then I'll give you Louis Martin's 199 super chat. Cheers, Louis. Tav out, Sterling in, Goldson captain with the armband.
It's a big push to say get him out and give gold and take away his captaincy and all the rest of it. There were points at the game tonight where I've looked at Tav and I was like, we'll see if Sterling comes in, plays a couple of games and gets a run. Tav will find it difficult to get back in, but I don't think he's going to literally just come. Sterling's not going to get fit and Beale's going to go, right, Tav, you're out now. He's fit and he goes. But again, the lad's come to play games. He's not come to sit on the bench or sit in the stands and watch Tavernier play in his position, but it's about him proving he's good enough to take over. And he can't do that until he does. So I get that people are frustrated at Tav. I'm frustrated at Tav. I already said he looked done at the end of the game, absolutely spent completely. And I don't think he did a huge amount tonight. Great penalty. But that's pretty much all he did. It was a good penalty.
Well, listen, I thought both full-backs were decent and back to looking a little bit more effective. James, I'll come to you. Sort of 11 minutes in, Barisic whips one in. Lammers can't quite get to it. And then we wait a couple of minutes later. Suter steps out, whips out to Barisic again. He gets it across the face of the goal. And Servette Dessers gets his first goal for Rangers.
It was after I thought Borna was good tonight. I thought his delivery into the box, I thought his crossing was on par with anything that I've seen. It's probably been the best crossing that I've seen from him in a wee while. Good goal. I will give Dessers credit there. He's obviously got to be there to tap in at the back post for me. But I don't know. Maybe I'm expecting too much too soon. So I'll try and be more. I'll try and be more positive now that we've obviously got a good result in Europe, 2-1. Just hopefully we'll be able to get there now and finish the game off.
Mark, you're the positivity merchant tonight, and I'm want to keep that ball rolling because the comments are hoaching with negativity, shall we say? I thought the tempo was great early doors, moving it really quick, bit of purpose. You're obviously going to get that bit of error with the front three until they get to know each other a bit better, but they were linking up well. I thought Danilo and Dessers in particular seemed to have a wee bit of an understanding.
Yeah, like I said, I thought we started well. I seen a decent bit of movement and some nice wee passages of play. I thought even building for the back as well, that moved a bit quicker. People, I thought our press was good at some points as well. I mean, it wasn't great, but as I said, there was lots of positives to take for it, and you can, if you look at the comments, one person says they were awful, one says about, so it just shows you how split this this support is, because as I said, some people are saying, yeah, we were rotten, what game were you watching? Other people are like, I totally agree with you. So as I said, it's mad how one person can see a game completely different from another game. But yeah, we started good tempo. I thought good in the press, biting into tackles. We looked as if we were purposeful, and I liked what I seen. The first 20 minutes, I thought we were really good, and we looked up for it, very much so.
Ian, I'm going to put this to you in terms of, we mentioned Dessers there. I know he's getting a bit of stick in the comments, but let's go to the Brazilian Danilo. He had a couple of good chances early doors and maybe just didn't compose himself. I can remember off the bat the 3-on-2 break. He couldn't compose himself, and he had one after that, broke away, could have found Ryan Jack and just couldn't make the pass. What do you think of him early on?
I think he's got, you can see it, it's there. It's just, again, he's not been in the door long, so he's still got the time to get used to what he's doing, new surroundings, new pitch, new people, the way they play and all the rest of it. I quite like what I saw from Danilo. He snatched at a few things, but I think that point that he's breaking the break and he was away, but we broke away so many times and we worked that as a tactic and it was really good. And there was some good, quick interplay, 1-2s, 1-touch, 2-touch stuff. And that was fantastic. Absolutely brilliant. Loved watching that. And I thought that in that first sort of 25 minutes, that was all over the place. Cantwell was a one-man pressing machine sometimes. So yeah, but Danilo, I thought it will come for Danilo. I think he looks good. Slightly played out of position, maybe, but you've got a lot of people vying for that one place. He's done the best he can in the position he's in. He'll come good. You can see the quality he's got. It's just you need to give him time, a little bit more time.
Do you think, Ian, that maybe the moaning and groaning after a couple of missed chances got to him a little bit?
Maybe, but I'm pretty sure he's had that issue when he came over, before he came over from Feyenoord. He's probably missed a few chances there and had rumbles and grumbles. Professional footballers, I mean, if they just listened to everything that was going on around them on the pitch, they would never get anything done, would they? They know how to block it out. They know how to keep going and do what they do. Remember, though, I know everyone's in the comments saying that, there's a lot of negativity and all the rest of it, but this is a live reaction. It's not, we've had 25 minutes to an hour to think about it and then come on. We're literally on straight after. So we've vented a little bit. We'll get to positivity. Don't worry. I'm sure there's a bit of positivity, even in James.
I was going to say, James is going to bring us some right now because at 2-0, we look in cruise control. And then Lammers has that chance at the back stick, which I think, had it gone in and been reviewed, would have been onside. James, huge miss.
It was a huge miss, and it's one of the games, mate. If we score that, we are on easy street, and I don't think that team obviously come back into it. It's just unfortunate, mate. Obviously, these big games, you've got to take your chances. Unfortunately, the big Lammers didn't take his chance. But for me, I don't think Lammers was one of the worst players in the park tonight. I like Lammers. I think he's going to be a very, very important player for us this year. I think the guy's got everything. He's got a good touch. He knows when to play a pass. There just seems to be a lot of negativity, and that was probably one that when I come on about certain players. But as Mark rightly says, it obviously comes down to opinions and how other people kind of view the game and stuff like that. So, but for me, no, it was a big miss, mate. One of the things, mate, he probably forced him another 10 times and he'll probably stick it away. But just, I don't know if he's maybe thought he's maybe offside and thought, oh, I'll just stick my boot out and it's went wide. But it's one of the ones, mate. It happens to every striker, so I'm not going to hold it against them.
Well, James, we'll stay with you. Jim Sloan, cheers, Jim. £10 super chat. The front three were pish. Can't really man the match by country mile. I'd have to say, for me, I thought Borna Barisic was the man of the match. I thought he was really, really good. That'll probably get me slaughtered in the comments. But what do you think of Jim's comment, James?
I don't think they were pish. Again, it's obviously a brand new front three again that are obviously getting to know one another. It's got to, as Mark says, it's going to take time for them to know whether they're going to be running half or whether they're going to drop deep and stuff like that. So to say it's pish, I wouldn't say. I would disagree with that. But for me, I thought Ryan Jack was one of the best players in the park tonight.
Listen, Ryan Jack played really well, absolutely. I bet Mark was delighted with that. Talking about Mark Doyle, thanks very much for the £1 super sticker. I hope I'm getting these things right. I don't know if it's a super sticker or a super chat. I'm just calling it as I see it. Mark, just before half time, Servette get back into the game. It's a VAR decision. It's Cyril Dessers. What did you make of it?
I thought it was a penalty. There's no really much you can do. His hands above his shoulder, and the ball hits him there. So there's not a lot you can do about it. It's a stonewall penalty. I think we'd be blue in the face if we didn't get it given against us. If that was a Servette player and it was in the box, we'd be screaming and shouting at the TV. So for me, it was a penalty. And to be fair, that's really all they've done. I mean, for me, they never really caused us that many problems. Big boy up front was not a bad player, I thought, for them, but I thought their goalkeeper was outstanding. I thought he was their man of the match tonight. I thought he pulled off some amazing saves, the boy.
Just on the penalty, I don't think it got a lot of coverage, but the boy we spoke about pre-match, the big fella, I forget his name now, the Bedaya, hope I'm saying that right, shoved his head towards Butland as Butland was trying to stand in front of the ball. Did we see that?
Yeah, he did.
Wasn't
a little bit naughty. No, it should have been. It should have been because, as I said, it was a little bit naughty. I've seen people sent off for less. I really have, but as I said, one of these things, it's a little bit naughty for me, definitely. I don't know why, because the referee was right there. It was right on the scene. He's seen it. As far as I'm concerned, he's seen it. So I don't know why something wasn't done about that. But for me, as I said, that was virgin and violent conduct. As I said, I've seen people be sent off for it. A little bit naughty.
Cheers, David Lyon, for the $1.99, and also cheers, Snaky Bear, for the £2 as well. We do really appreciate it. Ian, the crowd really got behind Butland as Bedire stepped up to take that penalty. Ibrox was really rocking at that moment, and the big striker obviously dispatched it well. It makes half-time a totally different complexion on Michael Beale's Team Talk.
Yeah, I mean, you could watch Butland. He's trying to play a little bit of mind games as well, stepping over to the sort of one side of the goal, trying to make him play it the way he wants to go. They're very composed, great penalty. I don't even think if Butland had gone the right way, I don't think he's getting to it. It was a really good penalty. Just frustrating. It was a penalty. You can't argue with that. You can see movement, the ball, the hand movement away from the body. So it's just one of those things. Without VAR, it doesn't get picked up, but that's what VAR's there for. So VAR did its job right. Correct decision, great penalty. Does change the team talk a little bit. It's just a shame it came so quickly after that Lammers miss. It's one of those. That's football, though, isn't it? One thing goes against you at one end, and then they get something at the other. That tends to be how it goes. But yeah, I think a quick rethink by Michael Beale for a team talk. I think, which up to that point we were looking all right and pretty decent in my eyes.
James, just on the Dessers, the handball, it did seem to, he was obviously a little bit annoyed that the decision being given against him. We then start the second half. You mentioned earlier on about his passing. He sells Cantwell short and arguably costs Cantwell a yellow card.
It was, like I say, mate, he wasn't the only one that was obviously making slack passes tonight. That was my biggest gripe, was that, I don't know, it was as if they had just obviously just met each other the night. They didn't know where anybody was going to be running, that nobody was going to highway, but just the slack passing in general, for me, was a bugbearer. But it's one of the things, if Cantwell doesn't go in on the grun, mate, with studs up, is there a chance that he might not get booked? It's one of the ones, mate, but it's obviously hard to kind of put into explain that, mate, that on another day he makes the right pass and we're away on a break. It happens. It does happen to players. I just hope, obviously, the passing starts to get better now with him.
And Mark, a couple of minutes later, Sam Lammers turns their keeper into prime Gigi Buffon. It's a great ball with Beraskin out to Tavernier. He gets it into the box. Lammers connects, and you're thinking that's 3, and obviously goal gets it away for a corner.
Yeah, great first time shot. What a save! But that was a great save. That come through bodies, and he seen that late. But what a great save! Is it, like I said there? I thought their goalkeeper was brilliant. I thought their goalkeeper was the best player in the park for them. But great snapshot as well for Lammers. Done well to move in and take that first time as well. So, and it was goal bound. I thought it was away, definitely.
Another £2 sticker for Mark Doyle there. Dessers shat it, should have let it hit him. I'm guessing he's talking about the penalty incident. Mark, do you agree with that?
I don't know. It's a bit harsh. These things just happen in the split seconds, but no, I think that's a bit harsh. I really do.
Alan Hutton sort of referenced at half time. It's one of the ones where you don't want to mess your hair up. I just suppose that doesn't affect you, Mark. That's maybe more for me, isn't it?
No, it's definitely for you.
I know what he's saying. He's maybe turned his back on it, which then brings his hand up. But
yes.
Listen,
yes.
Mark Doyle, the moment has gone. The penalty has gone, and it obviously it's been dispatched there. So moving on, just before the other, Servette, like they did in Genk, end up with a man sent off. Ian, correct decision, right?
Yeah, I mean, that boy had a mare, didn't he? Give the penalty away, then a booking not long after, then the second one to take the walk. Correct decision. All 3 of them, the penalty, the yellow card, and the second yellow, all correct from the referee. Not a problem at all with any of them. But even when he got sent off, it wasn't going to change the way Servette were playing. They showed last week against Genk that being down to 10 men is not a bother to them. They went 116 minutes with 10 men. So I didn't think it was going to change the way they played. They would still be dangerous on the counter. So we just had to sort of regroup ourselves and just go back at them a little bit more like we were doing in the first half. Just unfortunate that that sort of last sort of quarter of the game just seemed to, everything that we tried to do just either hit off us and spun away somewhere else, or the bad decision was made, the wrong pass was chosen. But I didn't think after the red card, which was a red card, that much would have changed in the game, the pattern of the game anyway.
Do you think, Ian, that it was our finishing that maybe let us off? Because a couple of minutes later, Cantwell gets into Raskin, he flicks it on to Danilo, gets a shot away, and it was sort of straight at the goalkeeper. We did seem to have a couple of good chances in both halves that we didn't really capitalise on.
Yeah, we made chances, and we if you go back and the dreaded stats of the game. You go back and it'll be quite dominant from a Rangers point of view. Shots at goal, shots on target, possession, and all the rest of it. It's just some of them they hit too cleanly. If they scuff it a little bit, it probably goes in the corner a bit more, and we'll get one. But like as you've already alluded to, the goalkeeper's made 2 cracking saves tonight. One absolutely superb, and the second one a really good save as well. It's just one of those nights, if you want to put it, but we have a lot of those. But the chances were there. We had shots on target. On another day, a couple more probably nestle in the corner.
James Danilo, that seemed to be his last involvement in the game. He came off a couple of minutes later, and Sima came on. Completely different players, right? Danilo was having a bit more of an impact on the game. Sima couldn't really impose himself too much when he came on.
No, he didn't. But although he was unlucky with the shot he had as well, unfortunately, it was just right down the throat of the goalkeeper. Probably if the big man's been on a wee bit longer, or whatever, or he's maybe got his confidence about him, he maybe side foots that into the bottom corner, or whatever. But he just seems to snatch at it. Kind of takes it too quick for me. Seema's one of the players that I do hope that he does turn the corner for us and comes on to a game. Obviously, he didn't do too much in pre-season, but he's one of the players, mate. I don't know if he's better played through the middle or he's a winger or whatever. But it's one of the ones, mate. That guy will also need time to hopefully settle in, and when he does, I'm sure he'll certainly rip the league up.
A lot of people comparing Sima to Sakala. That won't go away. I'll stay with you, James, just on another big save from their goalkeeper. I don't want to go to Mark. He's given that, blowing too much smoke up that goalkeeper's arse. Tav corner, well worked. Dessers connects, and it's another solid save from the goalkeeper.
Aye, again, it was probably one of the nights at the goalkeepers. You'll probably know of another game like that again now for a couple of months, and I'm hoping he doesn't have a game like that across there next week. I hope he's obviously has an absolute shanner there again. But it's one of these saves. If Butland pulls it off, we're all raving about it. So you've obviously got to give the keeper a bit of credit for the save. But again, if that goes in, we're on here a wee bit more positive, and it's on to next week. But again, we've always said it's only half time in this tie, and hopefully we'll get there next week, mate, and we'll get the result, and it's on to PSV.
Well, we shall wait and see on that one. Mark, substitutions then. We saw, obviously, Cifuentes come on for his debut, Kieran Dowell as well, and then later Hadji and Scott Wright gets some time on the park. We did mention it in the build-up. What did you think to the changes and how they impacted on the remainder of the game?
I think they were kind of. I thought Cifuentes, when he come on, looked apart, looked lively, looked solid. I see you can't really tell much in 15 minutes, give or take 15, 20 minutes. So I thought it looked well. As I said, he looked sharp, looked fit, looked strong. Dill, I think Dill done okay. He tried. I think even Sima, when Sima come on, I think Sima tried a bit too hard as well. I know he's getting plenty of stick as well, but I don't know. I think the boy lacks a bit of confidence. But no, I think that I don't really feel that the substitutions impacted the game really in any way whatsoever. I think probably at the stage that probably last 25 minutes, it was kind of I think it looked as if the job was done type of thing. I think the kind of mentality of the players kind of dropped a wee bit, and they kind of thought that the job was done. Which for me, I would want them to carry on right to the 96th minute. But I don't really think there was much impact. And Scott Wright, I don't know, did he kick the ball? Did he touch it? I don't know if he touched the ball. So as I said, it was all a bit nothingy. Which we previously spoke about the bench and how it would probably be a good bench, and there was be ways of changing it and bringing things on. But I think that it was flat, and I think that we maybe made too many changes at the last kind of 10, 15, 20 minutes. So it really didn't impact the game as far as I'm concerned. It kind of petered the game out probably rather than anything.
The thing for me, Mark, is have you got these players right that are maybe not going to get as many starts as they should? I'm going to pick Hadji here, but they are players that are better starting than they are coming off the bench. I don't feel Yanis Hadji is a smashing impact player. He's a better player when he starts the game. And I kind of felt like that way, obviously, the party fashion Sakala as well. So how do you balance that?
It's a hard one, isn't it? It's a very hard thing to do. Some players are just good impact players. Over the years, there's been many of them, but I don't think that we really have got anybody that can come on and impact a proper impact player. I mean, some players that you play for the start, and they're absolutely hopeless, but will come on and impact the game. And we've not really got anybody like that. I completely agree with you. I think Hadji's a better player when he starts a game. But I like what Hadji brings to the side. I like the fact that he's different. I like the fact that he's very much forward thinking. He looks to play a clever pass. He's a very intelligent player. But as I said, I don't think any of the subs, as I said back to my original point, I don't think any of the subs brought really anything to the game. I thought that maybe too many substitutions kind of petered out, almost a la pre-season game, if that makes sense. You do that, you change the players, and it kind of peters the game out.
Ian, Servette will be delighted with 2-1 going back to Switzerland. Do you think they'll come out on the second leg. How do you think they'll approach it being the home side? And apparently it's only their second sellout at that stadium as well.
If they want to get through, they are going to have to try and push a little bit, because other than the penalty, they didn't really trouble us at all tonight. I think their main aspect was just try and stay in the game. They got the penalty, and it was like, right, defend what we've got, stay in the game. If we can nick one, great, which is pretty much what they did away in Genk. So I think they did what they wanted to do tonight. So they are going to have to come out and push for it, because they're going to need to get that goal back at least. So that might leave some space for us to run into on the break. Because I said, when we broke tonight, we were pretty decent. We broke quickly, one touch, 2-touch passing, and got through quite a few times. So it makes it interesting going over to Servette. And I'm not sure how big that stadium is, to be perfectly honest.
30,000 it holds, I believe.
30,000 it holds. I mean, it's this right bang smack in the middle of Geneva. So, there's the nice setting, and I'm not sure how passionate Swiss crowds are compared to the rest of Europe. But
well, they seem to be bouncing away in that wee corner early dours. I thought they done all right. Listen, yeah. we've got some reaction from Michael Beale. Just bear with me here. He's told the BBC we'll have to take the win and put in a good performance next week. We're always going to have to do that. It was a fantastic start. We played with real energy. We ran forward, gave a lot to the game, and created so many chances. The reality is, at 2-0, it's a harsh penalty, but it is one, and that's what VAR is there for. Before that, the goalkeeper made 2 fantastic saves, and we had a lot of good opportunities where you can see we're fine-tuning and we'll get better over time. This is the Champions League, so the other team are always dangerous and have good players. The job is only half done. James, what do you make of that?
That's what I said, mate. It is only half time, and again, it's another. We'll have Livingston out the road as well. That's another game. Hopefully that the players will be start to get to know each other a wee bit better again. Another week's training under the belt, and hopefully it'll be next week. It'll be a better all-round performance. We'll go out and we'll scud them 3 or 4-0. Back to Ibrox, and again, mate, we'll go into the next round of the Champions League qualifiers.
Mark, do you agree with Michael Beale's sort of synopsis there at the match, or do you feel at times he's having to protect these players early doors?
I think there's probably a bit of both. I really do. I think he's probably trying to protect them more than he's telling the truth, if that makes sense. And rightly so. That's his job. Do you know what I mean? That's like somebody saying bad use 3 and me going like, do you know what? The 3 of them are fannies. Do you know what I mean? I'm not going to do it, even if he's our fannies. So that's how it is. Do you know what I mean? So no, all joking aside, yeah, no, I think there's probably a wee bit of both in there. I think it's his job to protect, and he can't really come out and say exactly what he's thinking. So I take most of it with a pinch of salt.
Just these comments won't go away, so I'm gonna stay with you, Mark. Just on Alfredo Morelos, a lot of people saying he put that chance away, put this chance away. He's better than him. He's better than him. The man's still unattached. Do we go back?
100% not. Thanks for your service, Morelos. But I mean, what is going on in your heads, man? Honest to God, bring Morelos back. Morelos never kicked his ass for 18 months. Never kicked his ass. Not at all. Unfit, overweight, couldn't care less. And you want to bring him back? Same as Sakala. Sakala was the best worst player I've ever seen. Granted, he's goal to game ratio brilliant, right? Absolutely brilliant. But if you sat and actually watched him, madness. So for me, to get £4 million for a player that frustrates the life out of everybody, but now that he's away, now that we've got £4 million for a player that we brought in for nothing, we're all saying bring him back. Just my mind's blown tonight. Absolutely blown tonight. Unbelievable.
Ian, let's keep Mark a wee rest here. Just on Morelos, I'll play devil's advocate a wee bit here. Do you think he might be, because he's been unattached for so long and he's not getting linked to the Holy Grail of clubs that he maybe thought he was going to get linked to, that he could have one eye maybe on a return to Rangers if they came calling and said, look, Alfredo, we could do with you back, mate?
He can think it all he wants, but I'm with Mark on this. Not a chance. Not a chance we're bringing him back. 6 months ago, people would go and get shot of him and get shot of him now. So why would we bring him back just because it's not started the way we wanted it to start? Granted, Killy was a horrendous game. Today was better, and you can see it. It's going to happen. It's going to come. You just have to give it time. There's no point hitting the massive panic button that we all love to hit every now and again and go, right, that's it. Bring back Morelos. Get Kent back from Fenerbahce on loan. They're gonna call for every single player to come back because it's not going the way we expect it to go. So, I mean, I'm hoping that the McLeish comment was a really big joke. I really do.
Listen, just a quick one. See all these people that are shouting for Morelos to come back. I want every one of them to put in the comments what size of waist is Morelos at the moment, because I tell you what, he's not kicked a ball for how many months now? 2 months.
He needs to find a club soon, though. He's got a swimming pool to pay for.
Well, so I mean, what size is he going to be if he's not kicked a ball in 2 months? He's not even trained in 2 months.
I've got to say, Mark, if you look at his Instagram post, there was one of him walking away in a gym, and he looked all right. He did look all right.
One word: filters. He's beast, man. He was training every day at Rangers, and he was a stone and a half overweight. Give me peace.
Please subscribe. Just went in 2-footed on you there, Mark.
What's he said?
Morelos' waist smaller than yours.
Right, and I'm hold on a minute. I'm not a professional athlete, and I'm not getting paid. I'm not getting paid 25-30 grand a week. So neither. I mean,
Morelos isn't getting paid either.
Well, but that's what I mean. So that's what he's looking for, but isn't it? So geese peace. I mean, bow your head.
James,
God, man.
James, I'll come to you. Listen, I don't for 1 minute think that Michael Beale would take Morelos back. I'm purely talking about it because it's heavy chat here. Just the final word to you on Morelos. There's no way he gets back in, right?
Oh, 100%, mate. Bring him in. Get him back. If it, man, just to wind Mark up.
He's at it, man. He's at it.
Let's park Morelos. That's absolutely plenty. I think to get back to what we started on, Mark, massive improvement from the weekend. I think there's definitely something to build on. We go again Saturday, Livingston at home. The manager had alluded to yesterday's press conference that there would be changes for this game and also changes for the game at the weekend. Who done enough to keep their jersey tonight?
Cantwell for a start, shoot in. I thought Big Shooter was outstanding.
He was brilliant.
I thought Barisic done well, and let's face it, there's nobody else to play there, so he's playing. Tavernier, I would have gave him a 6.5, maybe a 7 out of 10 tonight. Done all right. I thought, Big Lammers have been slaughtered, but I thought Big Lammers done all right. He put on a shift. Big Lammers went off that part with strip soaking wet. So for me, that's a bare minimum. You need to graft. So chased back, won a few tackles, done all right. Could have scored 2 goals, maybe even 3 goals. Lammers. So Lammers stays in for me. I think who else done well really. I thought Danilo looked sharp. I think he was trying too hard. I think there was a few of them trying too hard. I think Dessers probably doesn't look fit. I think there's wee glimpses of a player in there, but as I said, I think it doesn't look fit. It doesn't look 100% fit. And for me, the only way he's going to get fit is by playing. I thought Cifuentes looked done well. I thought Raskin was quiet, but I thought he was effective. Who else was in there? And I thought Jack done well as well. So there's a few. You'd have been probably quicker saying who do we drop and who do we bring in, but all in all, for me, like I said at the start, I seen improvement, and I think that if people look at this in the cold light of day, I think they will see improvement as well. I never said they were great, and I don't think any of us have ever said that they were outstanding and they were fantastic tonight. But for me, I seen improvement. I've seen improvement for a lot of players, and it's a building process. It's a learning process. We were never ever going to hit the ground running and be flying straight off the bat. And we'll get better. And for me, see if we progress to the Livingston game more than we've done tonight, then that for me is where we should be going. We should become 5 or 6 games into the season. We should be pretty much no far away from where we need to be. As I said, I think everybody's taking some sort of a mad drug at the start of this season. I think we were expecting. I think the expectation's been mental because we've spent a lot of money and we've brought in a lot of players. And you need to look at it. We have brought in a lot of players. They're all needing to know how each other play. They all need to gel. They all need to know what runs people make, whether people like the ball at their feet, whether they like the ball in front of them, whether they like. Do you know what I mean? So this all takes time to gel. So for me, I think for me, the biggest thing to take away from tonight is, all right, we weren't amazing, but we were decent. We were playing a decent side. We were playing a Champions League side. So at the end of the day, they put out Genk were a good side, are a good side. So for me, progress is the word of tonight, and I'm going to take the positive. So as I said, there's a lot of people not happy, but as I said, there's a lot of people quite happy with the way we're heading. So as I said, this is a marathon, not a sprint. So for me, I'll take the positives.
You know, I'll come to you with the same question. Mark went off on a wee bit of a tangent there, but just in terms of obviously players keeping their place for the weekend, in the comments, Sterling gets a mention. I know you were sort of saying that Tav looks spent towards the end of the game. I would suggest maybe Hadji will start as well. Would Cifuentes also get the nod at the weekend?
Yeah, I mean, I can't see why he wouldn't. He came on, he looked decent. I mean, there's a few, and I agree with a few people. He sat a bit deeper than I was expecting him to, but everything he did, he had one tiny little pass that went a bit wayward. But other than that, you know, I'm not saying that he shouldn't be starting because of that. I mean, everything he did tonight just looked pretty decent, very good class. You can see it in him. There was one down in the corner where a lot of people would have just shepherded the guy and the ball out to go out of play. He wasn't having that, and he nipped it back and started an attack. So I'd have him starting. I think it is a game where you could possibly think that Sterling needs to come in. I need to be careful because I kept calling him Trusty in the Daily Rabble earlier on. That Sterling could get a game in front of Tav for this one. Give him a couple because I think obviously Morton as well with that coming up, that'll be another game. It just depends if he's ready to go. That might be the reason why he's not getting starts now. But I can't disagree with anything Mark said really. Cantwell definitely starts. Jack would start for me, but our team would just be full of midfielders because it's and Danilo is a definite. I would start Danilo up top as my number one striker, I think, for the weekend as well.
James, Mark touched on Nico Raskin. Bit of a frustrating night for the Belgian. We've all sort of waxed lyrical about him back in the last season and obviously in the pre-season games as well. But there was times tonight where he looked frustrated, had to play back passes, and he was looking forward, sort of throwing his hands up. What did you make of his performance?
Again, mate, it's one of the ones that if nobody's making the forward runs for you, there's nothing they can do. What's he got to do? Just hit the ball up there and it just goes back to their goalkeeper or the defence mop it up. So I think he's very good at keeping possession and rightly so. You know what I mean? If there's nothing on, then go back and start again. Just don't pump a high ball that's just going to get mopped up by their defenders. So it was a frustration night for him. He's not the only one that it happened to. But Raskin is a good player, and I think it was Lewis that said that he is too good for Rangers or whatever it was that he says the other night. Raskin is a good player, and he's got to have nights like that because that team sat in there, you know what I mean, with 10 men. So it's difficult to start obviously picking passes and all that out. So no, he will have better games.
Some outlandish comments coming in there. CGM saying he would start Dowell at left back on Saturday. As I say, I thought Borna Barisic was really, really good tonight. And I would be really shocked if he doesn't start at the weekend, Mark.
Yeah, he's definitely going to start. I don't think we're playing Dowell at left back. I think they're just at it, this mob now. I really do. I just think they're trying to pull their chains. Seriously. That's brilliant. There's a few weird and wonderful comments. Do you know? I'm starting to think there's a lot of Celtic fans in this chat because it's just mad tonight, absolute mad. But look, you're entitled. Look, if you're a Celtic fan, you want to come watch the show and stick your comments in. By all means, that's not a problem at all. But Mine's blown. I'm getting to the stage where I'm speechless.
Mark Doyle, Ridvan obviously won't be available, I think, until the Morton game, the manager said yesterday. So definitely not forgotten. I'm sure he'll get back into the side. But if Borna carries on like he did tonight, as I say, I thought he got himself into positions. His delivery was really good. There was probably times where he was in good positions and he wasn't picked out. And he got a wee bit frustrated, especially first half. So I think Barisic plays at the weekend 100%. I'll come back to you. It was pointed out earlier on in the comments. I did whip it up. I think Jackson Bow sort of said, do we still have any idea what sort of style Michael Beale's playing?
There were points tonight where you could see something. That I've said it a few times now. The one touch, the two touch passing where we split through them. Maybe that's where we're looking at doing. As opposed, I mean, we're all screaming. In our chat, there's a lot of people screaming out, we haven't got any width, we haven't got any width. But if we can play that quickly against SPFL teams, that's never easy for me to say. And I don't even drink that much. Then we'd be able to get through teams a lot quicker. If we'd done that, like for instance, if we were doing some of the play we did tonight against Kelly, I think we'd have tore them apart. So there's seeds. I can see seeds of something. I'm getting more positive as this reaction video is going on, to be fair. I was not happy when we started it. I'm getting happier as we go along. I can see seeds of something happening. Like Mark says, we go again on the weekend and see if we see something else, something a little bit more. So, I can see. I'll repeat it one more time and then I'll stop talking. I can see something. There is something there, and I'm looking forward to seeing how it develops.
Listen, a great case in point there for Chris Stewart there. If you rebuild a car, there'll be teething problems when you first run it. You then fine-tune it, and that's where we're at. Do you agree with that, James? Is that where we're at? We've put a lot of components in, and we're just trying to get the best out of it and see what works for us early doors.
Yeah, it's obviously, as Mark says, it's 9 new players that's in the door, and it's not just going to be a case of cutting your fingers and it's going to work overnight. It is going to take time for it to come. And again, I'm probably expecting too much too soon. So it'll be one for me to kind of go and take away and think about what I'm obviously expecting for the team. But no, it's true that we've obviously got a wee while to go, and I don't think you'll probably see a style of play and the players coming in maybe until 5 or 6 weeks into the season with the performances. But it's the results that matter. So as long as Rangers keep winning, that's what really matters for me, mate.
Listen, I kept looking for a style of play towards the back end of last season. It kind of became real to me that Michael Beale seems to just play the opponent rather than his own sort of style. He was sort of playing the opponent game to game. Whether that will continue, I don't know. I'd like to think would be maybe more so like we were early doors in the game. The tempo was great, and I know you can't play like that for 90 minutes, but if you can play for it for an hour, or build on 20 minutes, get to half an hour, then 45 minutes, an hour. Do you know what I mean? Build on that, and that's where you're going to win games, because you're not going to get teams in our league playing like they played today. They played a solid 4-4-2, and I think that helped us in the sense we're getting the fullbacks forward. There was space in between midfield and their defence for especially Barisic early doors to commit defenders there, Mark.
Mate, I was too busy reading the mad comments.
Right, you can get Jim Sloan's mad comment then. £10.
Right.
Anyone hit the follow. Oh, brilliant! Jim's doing promotion now. Brilliant,
yes, Jim. Jim's a top man.
Jim is. If Jim's the man that called the other night on the phone in, you should come on the podcast because he makes some great points. Cheers for the £10 super chat, Jim. Always welcome. And Jim is right.
Top man.
Don't forget to like and subscribe. Even if you're not a Rangers supporter and you're just enjoying this content, like and subscribe. We've got plenty more coming at you. Lads, we won't go on too much longer because I think we've maybe talked the game to death. The comments have really done Mark in. I think he needs a lie down now.
100%.
But we move on. We've got another league game on Saturday. I would like to think that, as Mark says, we will see some improvement. James, you said there, you need to give them sort of the benefit of doubt and get sort of up to speed. You know yourself in the west of Scotland, players don't get time. So how important is it that they carry on in the same vein of form tonight and just as you say, get 3 points and a win on the board come Saturday?
it's the be end and end all, mate. The 3 points is all that matters. It doesn't matter how you get them. You need to win ugly sometimes. We probably won ugly tonight. So for me, just get the results in the bag, get the 3 points, just get the good feelings back in with the players. The confidence will come to these players. They're no bad players. We wouldn't have been out and shelled out the money that we have on some of them if they were bad players, and it will take time for them, but it will come good. And the next couple of weeks or so, we'll be sitting here and we'll all be smiling and laughing, and the Rangers are obviously back top of the league again.
Listen,
positive.
That infamous supporter that clips us up on Twitter a lot, he'll be up late tonight, Mark. He's got plenty to clip you up with.
Let him batter in. I couldn't feel less. Absolutely. Once bitten, twice shy. I couldn't feel less. Whatever you want to do, batter in. If he's abusing us, he's leaving somebody else alone, isn't he?
It's been some podcast tonight, I'm telling you. I don't know if it's light in here, but I am sweating. So, gentlemen, a decent result. We'll take 2-1. We'll go to Switzerland, and we'll hopefully come back and be in the hat for the next round, albeit probably against a tougher opposition in PSV Eindhoven. I think as well, I watched their game last night, and I feel like they look a better side than they were last season. I must say that. They look full of energy, full of pace. They've still got a core. The boy, is it Sangria, the big fella in the middle of the park? He looks a right player, by the way. But I'm sure we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Mark, I'm going to give the final word to you because you've been on absolute fire tonight. Just sort of, someone's saying, try what? Or try moderating the chat. I've got too much going on here, Cammy. Try and moderate these three, never mind moderate the chat. Hi, Mark. So just sort of round it up if you can and let us, believe going into Saturday and going into next week.
Yeah, look, I've said it before, I'll say it again. Rome wasn't built in a day. We have seen improvement tonight. Hopefully we'll see improvement at the weekend. So this is, as I said, the other good thing as well for me is Dessers, although wasn't great tonight, he done all right, put in effort, but he's got a goal now, and that's the monkey off his back as well. So he might go in more relaxed to the next game. So for me, that's I've said it. I said it before the first game. He's going to play with two players up front. For me, he's going to play with Dessers and Danilo up front. So these two are going to be in that this team for me moving forward. So I think there's positives to be taken from it. All right, we weren't amazing, but I wasn't expecting us to be amazing. I really wasn't. I was just hoping A, for a win, B, for signs of improvement, and I got both. So for me, I'm quite happy. I'll go to bed tonight knowing that we never get bet. We weren't terrible. There was a few positives to take for the game. Even Barisic was a positive. So, I mean, Neil Lundstrom in the team is another positive. So, but you can just keep picking them. If you just keep picking away, there's positives there. So we need to look to the future. As I said, if we keep improving every game, we'll get to where we want to be by the end of the season.
Fantastic. Lads, we'll finish on that note. Do you want to say we are back tomorrow with a Rabble Daily? That's available on Patreon. If you do like watching on YouTube, we are back on Friday night with a phone-in. And then obviously then at the weekend, it'll be the build-up of the Livingston game followed by match reaction. Everybody's wanting Mark on all the match reactions now, Mark. You've got a hard act to follow now on Saturday. But listen, thanks for joining us in the comments, lads. Thanks for joining me as well tonight. It's been an absolute pleasure. I'm away for a lie down. Good footing for the next round. 2-1, and we'll see how we get on next Tuesday. Cheers.